how he was. What's your name again? And nice to meet you. Thank you for listening to my story.
For me, it was my first time in that sort of format, conversation format, where I got a chance to actually express some of the things that are a little bit more difficult to address, the spiritual aspects of creation, of arts. I mean, the intellectual, academic world, I guess, most of the time. So these ideas are sometimes maybe less well received and sometimes perceived as intellectually suspect spirituality in itself. So it's very nice to have this space of trust and it's a very warm atmosphere where I felt comfortable to speak on these topics. And for me, it's personally liberating and just very heartwarming.
So thanks for talking here. How did you enjoy this conversation a bit?
I thought actually this was a very great space to have these conversations in order to gain some commonality between communities. Something that we were actually speaking about earlier with some of the people here, that we don't really have so many spaces in order to have these conversations, and sometimes this conception of what religion is has a negative connotation. So I think creating a space where we can share actually the beauty of spirituality and the beauty of the commonalities that exist between us as human beings is very beautiful.
What I especially liked was that this event was talking about artistic expression and spirituality, and that they actually scheduled artists to come and share. So I thought that contributed not only to our intellectual understanding of this issue, but also on a very practical level you can see how different people have interpreted their understanding of their own faith and turned it into music. So I really appreciated this space, and I hope more spaces can continue to be organized. I think it's important, especially when maybe the discourse on religion tends to prioritize differences, and then in spaces such as this, especially because, like the speaker today mentioned, like this space has a certain intention behind it, and it's one that's supposed to be a safe space. It's supposed to be about exploring a topic together, and I think just framing that discourse before you start is important, and it really leads the conversation to a place where I'd say everyone's understanding is advanced through how it was structured today.
So this is a mandala, and it's the 4 different spheres of my life currently. You have the immediate, the near future, and the eventual. So the themes are traveling, metamorphosis, love, and creativity, and how we can kind of encapsulate all of these different themes in our life through our creative outlets, which are writing for me and art and activism. And so then there's near future. I hope to create a balance between all of these things and pursue them even further and deeper, and eventually in the end kind of have this I, which is the examined life, and lead a life that is well thought through and examined.
My poem was called Prophet Muhammad. I pretty much explained Islam in a nutshell, but focused specifically on early Islamic history during the Prophet Muhammad's time. So I kept referring to he as Prophet Muhammad, and I kept referring to they as the Arab tribe that he belonged to, which was the tribe of Quraysh. So yeah, I pretty much just took basic themes that were addressed to me, but I could say addressed these misconceptions through directly just the Prophet Muhammad and those that surrounded him, rather than okay, this is what the Quran says, a verse so and so and so, but actually address like using people to explain or address the misconceptions.
I think what's really interesting too is that kind of everyone carries around these beliefs, and yet we often don't have these dialogues or conversations, and they're such like an innate part of who we are, like as kind of creators and spiritual people.
And it was interesting to see that it had to take kind of an event to kind of have us discuss some of these ideas if they're not part of maybe like our everyday society. And so I think it's encouraging people to speak out more about, you know, their spiritual practices and kind of accept each other's different kind of artistic expressions as well.